Okay, so we are here. This is special. This is Art Hotels and Art Experiences in Ecuador. So we have the owner, and I'm very excited. And also, he is there with his director of marketing, Stephanie. So you can see Sebastian and Stephanie. Just wave, give us a hello. Awesome. I'm gonna spotlight you so everybody can see you. So this is going to be a lovely presentation because, as you all know, because you've seen our marketing and our talks, and I'm sure you've seen some of the ME Ecuador videos that happened before we started working with Art Experiences. And this is a special group that really works to integrate the local culture and the local community into each guest experience. So beyond the hotels that they own and manage and operate, it is more about getting you out to experience, to meet the people, to understand the cultures, to understand the roots of Ecuador, and the stories is told through its people that still employ the traditions and the ancient methods still today that they learned from their ancestors for their craft. So it's a very special experience all in one. It's so much more than beyond the hotel, just the hotels. It's far beyond that. So I'm going to turn it over to Sebastian, excuse me, to Sebastian and Stephanie. Sorry, I should not eat peanut butter before a webinar. And I'm going to let them say hello, and then they're going to take you through beautiful, beautiful journey. So again, if you can just make sure that you're muted for the presentation, use the chat function, and over to you guys.
Thank you so much, Gabby. As always, you hit a couple of things that we definitely have to talk about. The part about talking about Me Ecuador was something that actually connected us, and hence we're actually here working with you, and it's been a pleasure so far. I hope everybody had a really nice weekend, Easter. We sure did eat a lot of chocolates over there with our kids and everything, so we're very happy to come back recharged and to actually do this presentation, which we are really passionate about. One of the things that Gabby said, extremely, is we work with the safekeepers of the cultures and traditions of Ecuador, and it's something that actually goes beyond what we call hospitality for the hotels or for Art Experiences Travel or DMC. Goes beyond a little bit more of what tourism is all about. It goes towards something bigger than us. Why is this bigger? Because right now, the generations to come, thank you to the accessibility that you get on your phones and the internet, they don't see the culture or traditions that fashionable. So they're actually moving towards something else. They're trying to do something completely different rather than to keep the generational chores, the generational traditions of their families in place and actually learn about it and try to keep them alive. This challenge is something that actually brought to life Me Ecuador, which is Micro Entrepreneurs of Ecuador. And one of the things that we actually do is take these beautiful neighbors that we have in the hotels that we open. We have 3 hotels that you will see afterwards, and we're working a 4th and a 5th one. We do not lack ambition. We actually want to expand a lot. But when we construct the hotels, it takes about 3 to 4 years to develop each one of the properties. And once we do that, we start meeting the neighbors, because there's a strong community base and a strong value of collaboration within our companies. And what we do with them is we see what they do, we see the shores, we understand what they do, what they're passionate about, and then we start working with them. We've been working with some of these people for 6 years, and we have a queue of 60 different experiences only around the hotels. We're actually broadening out, making it broader with Art Experiences Travel, and we're doing a lot in the Galapagos and in the mainland as well. So we have around 150 different micro entrepreneurs that are actually on a queue line in a process that is going to take up to 1 to 2 years, depending on each one of them, to bring them into tourism. How do we do that? We see people that are very passionate about what they do, that they're not a tourist trap. They're being untampered. They're diamonds in the rough. And the only thing that we do is we teach them processes, service, and finance. That's pretty much it. And then we present it to all of our DMC's peers or the hotel's clients here in Ecuador for them to foster people to go and see them. But with the difference that we actually share them with a fair price strategy. It's not going to be free. One of the things about tourism that we don't like that much is that normally people in the communities are used to being visited for free, and they only expect visitors to buy 1 or 2 things, right? So they're very very much very much in the business of having like 3 to 4 buses of tourism going to the workshops. They do something very mechanical without that much essence, and they wait for people to buy them a souvenir. We're trying to change that model with EMI Ecuador, that was born with Art Hotels Ecuador, which give birth to art experiences travel. And what we try to do is like pay them fairly for their price, but this is not gonna skyrocket the prices of a tour. Not at all, not even by chance, but pay them fairly so they actually make a sustainable living out of it. Being paid fairly for what they do, for the traditions and knowledge, is something that we really have to do, because we have seen the change in younger generations, that they're seeing tourism and the type of tourists that we actually bring them, which are 4-star, 5-star, and high-end clients, and they actually do like it because it became fashionable. Some of them actually tell me, since we met you guys, we found something that we really like. Our kids are actually looking to us, like giving our tradition and giving an exposition, like a master class in what they do, to people all over the world that have a really high level of culture, and they create a connection between them. So kids who were not involved at the beginning are now getting involved more and more within the process of being present when we actually send them people to the workshops. And it's something that is really nice, because it's having a really good impact. As Gabi knows and Stephanie knows too, we do this with a lot of love, but a lot of tough love too. So we're very practical in the ways that we do it, and we're trying to make them see it as a business. We develop a business model canvas. I teach them finance for them to understand what they have to do. And more so than anything else is that is an agreement. We have a code of conduct in which we have an agreement upon them, right? That they have to give them our time and we give them our time, but we have to listen to each other and make something that is really good. So they're really happy. There are people that want, like, futurists, have a deep immersion within what they do, and give them and give whatever they have, like give them the experience. And to be honest with you, it's really difficult to convey what you can feel with them. And even if we do webinars with Gabi and me, Ecuador, and everything, is not the same thing as you actually really going there, understanding it, and experiencing it. So it's a little bit more complicated. You have to create the circumstances for them to actually give the masterclass or the deep immersion within their culture. And the passengers have to be willing to accept that. Once you have both of them, then we actually have the so-called transformational travel, because you get to understand people from the ground rules, from the basics. So I can talk this forever, but I don't think we have that much time. So in order to do this, Gabi, do you think I can start the presentation right now so I can show you guys Art Experiences Travel?
Absolutely. Sounds great.
Sounds great. Okay, let me please just confirm if you can see your screen. Okay, can you see the screen, Gabi?
Yep, it looks great.
Great. Okay, so that was a small introduction. Right now I'm here with Stephanie Reasons. She's our commercial director for both our hotels, Ecuador and Art Experiences Travel. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about Art Experiences Travel. You guys already know how it was born. It was born from actually connecting the 3 properties that we have. We're creating circuits around Ecuador. We're soon to open a hotel in Guayaquil and soon to start a project in the Galapagos Islands. So what we want to do is create tourist circuits, but at the same time, we met so many wonderful people that out of the necessity, out of the pandemic as well, we develop Art Experiences Travel, which is based on the experiences that you can have. But our slogan, as you may know, and sadly I cannot do this with that many people, is that we listen, you travel. Why we listen? Because you really have to listen and listen hard to what the customers want in order for you to give them the perfect match between people, places, nature, and of course experiences. Therefore, if you actually do these connections, you can create the circumstances for them to have a phenomenal transformational journey. And we use things like the hero's journey and a couple of games to actually foster this that we're going to discuss a little bit further. So welcome to Art Experiences Travel. One of the things that I want to show you is the following. This is Ecuador, right? For anybody that knows, doesn't know, it's in South America. We actually have connections with all of the continents. Ecuador is one of the smallest countries in South America, but is in the middle of the Ecuadorian line. And we have 4 regions. We have the Amazon, the Andes, the coast, and of course the Galapagos. Within Quito, there's 2 main airports, which is in Guayaquil and Cuenca, from which you can actually fly to different places in Ecuador as well to the Galapagos Islands, which is the crown jewel as well. So this is basically for you to understand that logistics-wise, Quito is actually could be a hub, not only for tourism, but for logistics-wise in the continent. But within Quito, within Ecuador, it's really easy to move to different places that you will see. Being such a small country with so much diversity, give us the opportunity to actually do in a little bit of time, a lot of different experiences in a lot of different places, which is actually great. Why Ecuador? Well, one of the things that we were talking about are distance. Just flights are less than 1 hour. The biggest flight is 2 hours, which is to the Galapagos Islands from Quito. From Guayaquil is an hour and a half, because Guayaquil is basically over here. But logistics-wise, as you see, the 4 regions, it's really easy to move to each one of these places, right? If you actually see driving distance from Quito to Otavalo, or from the airport to Quito and Otavalo is pretty much the same. So logistically, Ecuador is fantastic for people that do not have that much time to travel. As in the States, you guys only have like the 15 days of vacation, more or less. So trips have to be around like 11 days to 12 days. So this is the perfect country for you guys to actually see it. Another thing that is amazing is that you can actually travel to Ecuador 360 days of the year, right? And you're gonna have the same diversity. We have dry climate, tropical climate, a dry tropical climate, humid climate where you can see actually the rainforest and everything like that. Semi-humid climate, which is actually going down from the Andes mountains and getting into like cacao farms and mango farms, which is a paradise. Then you have the Paramo, which is very high in the mountains, in which you can see actually lagoons that are like fantastic. And then you have the Galapagos Islands, which is basically their own climate, is a different climate that we have within the continent. So in terms of diversity and the things that you're going to see within nature, places and people is amazing. Another good thing, if you see it this way, is not so much of an adventure, but the exchange rates from Ecuador. Ecuador has been dollarized since 1999. In 1999, we had a huge economical crisis, and we actually decided to get dollarized. So the currency in Ecuador is American dollars, and you don't have the hassle of the exchange rate, and you actually don't have to lose money when you actually go back and have to exchange the rate again. So it's pretty easy and hassle-free, to be honest with you. We call Ecuador that is all of South America in one country, because we have the Amazon like Brazil does, right? We have like Peru and Bolivia, they have beautiful cities like Lima. We have Quito. Bolivia has Santa Fe, which is fantastic. So it's everything that you may want within one country, which is really nice. And then we're actually going to talk a little bit about the diversity that we do have over here. And the diversity comes within the cultures of the place, the traditions that we have, all the nature that you're going to see, all the vegetables, the fauna, the flora that you're going to see are just fantastic. And of course, we have 14 different cultures within Ecuador, very proud in their life and their cosmovision. So that's why we really have to listen to connect you to the right people in the right place of Ecuador, because we have so much to offer that is really hard, right? And then of course we have the Galapagos Islands, which is the crown jewel, but it's also, as Gabi may have told you within ME Ecuador in the conversations, is also something fantastic to have, but it's also something a little bit bad to have, because it limits the amount of people that you can have within you. Because Galapagos actually cannibalizes what you can do in the mainland. So that's one of the things that we want to change in a different way, and we're gonna be able to do it with your help. There's three ways to explore the Galapagos Islands, of course. One of them, and the most popular one, is the cruise, right? The cruise by our experiences. What is really good about this is that you're going to explore the farthest away islands, and where while you're sleeping, you're actually going to other destinations. So in terms of time, what you can do in a cruise ship is fantastic. You get to explore a lot, you get to see a lot. But one of the only bad thing or negative things about this is that it's not flexible. You only have an itinerary and you cannot like tailor-made it unless you charter a boat and put more guides within the boat so you can actually do different experiences that we have done in the past. Then the second one is the land-based by our experiences or island hopping, which is really interesting because you do not get to
isn't just about feeding others, but giving a
okay. So land-based or island hopping is not that much, is not very known, but what it is very flexible in the things that you can do, because you can actually have day tours to explore other islands, but you have the flexibility to do it on your own time and to do it as much as you want. So in terms of like people that are like very interested in seeing certain animals, island hopping is a really good idea for them to do it. But the best way, to be honest with you, to do this is a mix between a cruise ship and a land base. Because a cruise ship takes you to like farthest away islands that is really difficult to get in a land-based tour. But when you mix both, you have the connection or the reach to the farthest away islands, but also you have the tailor-made experiences that not only give you animals, but give you wonderful experiences. Most of them in sustainability within the islands. You're actually gonna get to know how people from the islands, from the Galapagos, Galapagueños live, which is fantastic as well. This is to stream down what we do in Art Experiences Travel. We have three formats in what we do everything. So one of them is sightseeing. You're gonna have a good understanding of nature and culture. Is a minimum of 8 days. Less than 8 days is really difficult for us to actually give you the service that we want to do. And in the Galapagos, you either choose cruise or land-based, which goes a little bit on hand on the budget and on what the client wants. Then the second one is highlights, which is really nice, is a minimum of 12 days. You're gonna have a really good understanding of culture and nature in a broader spectrum because you're gonna visit a little bit more of the places. Then the tours must have continent in the Galapagos. We do not exclude one to the other. And in the Galapagos, you can either do a cruise or a land base, which is going to be a little bit more rich because you have a little bit more time. But the one that we really want to discuss and the one that we really like is one that we call the total immersion package. The total immersion package is basically we're working on give you a certificate that you know Ecuador and you can actually explain Ecuador to everybody else. The total immersion goes into a very deep understanding of the culture and nature of the country. It is a slow-paced tour to enjoy the experience based on transformational travel. You're gonna have a digital concierge or a physical concierge within your trip, so you can actually change things. Like, for instance, your guide. You don't like your guide, you want to change it, perfect. We change it for you. Today you had a tour about like walking towards a mountain, but you don't feel that good because I don't know, altitude hits you, or you basically don't want to do exercises right now. Perfect. With the digital concierge, we can change whatever you want and give you like a menu of the things that you want to do. Tours will definitely have continent and the Galapagos, and the longer trips, they start within 15 days, 13 days the minimum, and they have the mix between a Galapagos cruise and a land-based experience, so you can actually get a good understanding of what the Galapagos Islands is really about. Then we actually develop a couple of sample itineraries. I'm not gonna, due to time constraints, I'm not gonna show you all of them. But for instance, let me show you something that we do within the land base, which is all of the route of the volcanoes within the Andes. So one of the things that we want to say is like, you actually start in Otavalo, because Otavalo is another airport hotel. It's the same distance from the downtown to Otavalo. So we start north and we actually gain a day. Stephanie is going to explain a little bit more about that. Then you go alongside Quito, you visit all the attractions over here. And as you see, one of the beautiful things that you do is you are actually driving through the Andes of South America. And to be honest with you, are the best Andes because we have like many things to show you along the way. Big cities, small towns, beautiful landscapes, and of course, traditional experiences in every single part as well. So Cuenca is one of the cultural cities of Ecuador in which you actually go down the Andes Mountains, the mountain range, and get into the city of Guayaquil in which you can experience cacao farms, coffee farms, and of course in Guayaquil is the hub to start your journey to the Galapagos as well. And as you can see, you can actually fly to both cities from Quito back and forth, which is really easy for people that do not have that much time. So those are the kind of things that we do within Art Experiences Travel. I'm not going to go through a lot of them. Let me show you a little bit about what we have within the Galapagos, so you understand like an 8-day cruise in the Galapagos Islands and how it actually starts. So from Quito, normally you go to Guayaquil by plane, and from Guayaquil, you fly to the Galapagos Islands. You actually land in Baltra, and the cruise ship is gonna take you up the northwest of the islands, in which you can see whales. You can go to Isabela, which is the biggest island. You see guanos over here. You see the pingüinos, yeah, penguins. And you're gonna do a snorkeling along the way. You're gonna do many stops, and it's just fantastic to see everything that you can do. For instance, you can see flamingos, which is a bird that is not native from the Galapagos that flew over there because they have these volcanic roots and the perfect environment for them to do. In certain ports, you're gonna stop there. You're gonna visit the second biggest crater volcano in the world, which is Sierra Negra. And then you start your journey and go all the way to Santa Cruz again to actually visit how turtles are being raised in order to increase the population, so you can see it. Then you go to Plaza Sur, which is really interesting, in which you're gonna see a lot of sea lions. And then of course, you're gonna see blue-footed boobies. And if you're lucky enough, in different places, you can actually see red-footed boobies as well. So this is kind of a sample itinerary on how like a cruise ship can give you all of these experiences in a shorter spectrum of time because you're traveling while you're sleeping. As our Hotels Ecuador, what we like, our Experiences Travel, sorry, what we like to do is like we tailor-made each one of the things depending on what people want to see or experience. And of course, we have itineraries that go everywhere in the Galapagos as well. So this is an example of a land-based tour starting from the other hub, another island, which is called San Cristobal. Same thing, you go from Quito to Guayaquil. From Guayaquil, you go to the Galapagos Island to San Cristobal Airport, which is actually nicer because you drive like 5 minutes and you're in the town of San Cristobal, which is really nice. Then you actually can have explorations through San Cristobal, or you have a tour date, for instance, to Española. Española is really nice because if you actually go to Punta Peak, you actually see red-footed boobies, which not many people know. So this is the thing about what you can do within the land base. In the land base, you don't cover that much, but you still have access to day touring different islands, which is really nice because you get to pick what you want to see. The cruise ships have a fixed itinerary, and you get basically what you can have. So that's pretty much for what we do in terms of Art Experiences Travel, what we've been doing for the past 2.5 years. But one of the things that I really want you guys to know is what we talked about in the beginning as an intro. This idea of this DMC was born from the idea of sustainability. But not only our DMC, Art Hotels Ecuador was born in sustainability base and fundamentals. We use the 3 pillars, which is basically the social pillar, the environment pillar, and the economic pillar. And we're very technical about sustainability. But the thing that we like the most about this is the power of hospitality and tourism to connect people and to create circular economies in order to spread that dollar to many more people around you and to develop and create better and sustainable lives for all of them, right? The personal concierge, which I already told you, is the service that we have, right? We have a couple of clients that basically say, okay, I want a tour in Ecuador, but my clients don't know what to do. And we're like, okay, perfect. Why don't we open a credit account from $5,000 to $10,000, and they can choose whatever they want to do on spot. which works amazingly fine because sometimes they're like families, a generational family, effectively a small group that comes within our hotels, and some of them want to do different things. The personal concierge actually caters different experiences according to what each one of them wants. So this works like a charm, and basically flexibility is something that we want to do as much as possible. And coming soon, we are actually developing a flexible and innovative platform that shows you step by step how to develop tours within Ecuador based on the experiences, based on the purpose of the traveler, based on the key activities and the must that the traveler really wants to do, and then based on the different destinations that we have. So thank you for listening. Right now, I'm gonna give it back to Stephanie. Probably we're gonna do some questions at the end of the presentation, and Stephanie is gonna show you what our hotels is all about and how we actually started at the beginning of all this journey. So, Stephanie, for you guys.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to meet you all. Happy Easter. So Art Hotels, it's a new concept of hotel business in Ecuador, and it came from the idea of combining art with the hotel and hospitality services. And why was that? Is because when you have artists working with you, because that is what we have within our staff, we have singers, we have musicians, we have dancers. And you know, artists are always more open to get in contact with people. And for us, people is the main value of our chain. And that is how we decided to have Art Hotels running. So these people are getting trained to be part of the hospitality business. And that is why our slogan is called Beyond a Great Stay. So we don't actually sell hotels. We go beyond. So we sell an experience that is just catching what you can have in your mind. And especially we want to get in your heart. So it can become an unforgettable memory, an unforgettable experience that you will take for the rest of your time. And that is what we want to bring to your clients too. I saw in your comments that several of you are selling a lot of Costa Rica. And of course, this is a challenging time for all the tourism and hospitality business because we all are competing. So now you as sellers need to find the best destination for your clients. So what will make you decide to choose between Costa Rica and Ecuador? This is what we want to give you, the tool that that you can really have the confidence and the assurance that your passengers will go back with something else than just a visit to Ecuador or to the Galapagos Islands. So that is what we do. We go beyond. And I want to show you the properties that we have now in operation. We have 3 hotels. So this is our first property, is Hotel Mama Cuchara. Mama Cuchara is in Quito, the capital of Ecuador, as you saw in the map Sebastian was showing to us. So this is right now the connection when you come into Quito or into the Galapagos Islands. Mama Cuchara is our mother property. That is how I like to call it. It was opened at the end of 2018, sorry, and it has 26 rooms. It's a property from the 19th century located in the old town Quito. So the access is super easy because we have 4 different accesses. You know that when you are in the old town in Quito, sometimes traffic can be a little complicated. But Mama Cuchara has the perfect location. So it's easy to come into the old town and also to go out to the airport, especially when you have the connections, international or to the Galapagos Islands. What you see to the corner where you see that beautiful Virgin and the hill, that is the Virgin of Quito, which is very, very famous. And you can see her from our rooftop bar. So that gives you an idea of the location that we have, the places that you have seen. It's only 10 minutes to the main square, which is the main point of tourist attractions to see in Quito, the churches and the convents that usually you see in a city tour. So this is Mama Cuchara. The next property is Hotel Otavalo. This is a very special property because it's in the northern part of Ecuador. It's only an hour and a half driving from Quito. But what maybe you don't know is that the airport in Quito is not in Quito. It's halfway going to Otavalo. So what we want to share with you this afternoon is that you may consider Otavalo as an arriving destination into Ecuador. And why is that? It's because First of all, Otavalo is lower in altitude, so you have about 400 meters low. That is 2,400 meters compared to Quito, that is 2,830. So in terms of altitude, our passengers will get used easily to the highlands of Ecuador. And you can see the picture where you can see the market of Los Ponchos in Otavalo, that is very famous and is something that usually you get requested to sell. But why don't sell the experience of just arriving into a town where you have the Otavaleños that are known as the more welcoming and happiest people in Ecuador to say, welcome to Ecuador. It's just to have a different experience. And of course, the hotel. The hotel is a beautiful property. It's our biggest property at the moment in construction-wise. We have 29 rooms and it's right in the heart of Otavalo. It's only 3 blocks from the market. Maybe some of you have been into Ecuador, so you can relate how it is super easy to walk around if you want to go out at night to see the plazas or just to see the Otavaleño life, then you can do it. And this is just trying to break the usual selling attitude that we have to sell haciendas around the province. So it's more to get in this human contact.
One of the greatest things about this logistically, again, is sometimes you actually do an extension to Otavalo from Quito, which is only a day visit. For the day visit, until everybody gets ready, getting the bus and everything within traffic, you take an hour and a half to go to Quito to 2 hours, and then to go back around 2 hours to 3 hours. So you're basically losing a day. When you land, normally from the US, most of the flights land late at night, you actually have a drive, which is exactly the same time, if not less, to Otavalo than to Quito, to the Old Town or to the Marriott Hotel, if you may. So if you land in Tababela, which is northern of Quito, you go to Otavalo, you have gained a day without having that visit. And the greatest thing about this is that the city of Otavalo is basically a commercial hub for many different communities in which we have developed amazing experiences. So instead of like walking around too much in order to get used to the altitude, you're in a lower city, do these experiences which are not like physically demanding, and then you stay in a beautiful and probably the biggest South American indigenous city, or one of the biggest in the world. So it's full with culture, full with experiences, and as Stephanie said, they're very welcoming because Otavaleños are known for them to, when they turn 18, they have 2 options. They do chores in the family, or they farm the land, or they have to go a year to 2 years abroad, just with a little backpack and a couple of like handcrafts and textiles and everything to sell. And they live abroad for 1 to 2 years. So there's Otavaleños, when you see in the plaza, sometimes like playing music, there's a very high chance, I will say 60 to 70% chance that they're from Otavalo and from Ecuador. So they're very well traveled, very well versed, and they speak different languages, which is actually really nice.
And our third property is Hotel Cruz del Vado. This property is in Cuenca. This is going to the southern part of the country, towards the border with Peru. And Cuenca is our cultural capital in Ecuador because it is a city that has so many artisans and handicrafts and places that you can visit. And our property is right on the entrance to the Old Town in Cuenca. From our hotel to the cathedral that you can see in the picture, it's only 10 minutes walking. We are just at the beginning of La Calle Larga, or the long street, which is the touristic street that you need to follow when you are visiting Cuenca. And in front of the hotel, we have the Rio Tomebamba. So it gives it such a romantic ambience that I always tell us. Then I just feel that when you're in this hotel and you open your balcony, it's just like being in another place, and you have the modern part of Cuenca to your front, and then you have to the back the old town. And our rooftop, which is on the upper part of the property, is our restaurant, and it's also a rooftop bar. So you have the best view in Cuenca. Location is perfect. What you see in the facade is pink marble. So that gives you an idea of the European influence that you can find in Cuenca. It's a beautiful city to visit. before we used to have the train running through the Andes, and there was this very interesting way called the route of the volcanoes. Now the train is not working, but you can still do this and just go by land, as you saw in the map before during Sebastian's presentation, or you also can fly to Cuenca. It's only 30 minutes flight, but it's a city that you really need to see because it's so different from Quito and from Guayaquil, and just to get the experience with the artisans and the Cuencanos, which is so very fun because they have this special dialect and the food is different. So it is very, very interesting to see this hotel. And here we have 26 rooms. Then our new project is Hotel Rio Guayas. We just began the construction of Hotel Rio Guayas. Is going to be in Guayaquil. Guayaquil, for you to know, is more an economical city, is more corporate. So there are not many, if I just say maybe one or two boutique hotels in the city. So it was needed to have something special as a boutique hotel, but in a specific location that is called Las Peñas. That is the picture that you see in the corner of the presentation. And Las Peñas is a very cultural and artistic place in Guayaquil. And as you can see in the picture, it has a lot of colors. The constructions are made in wood, it's very tropical. And what you see in the render is the back part of the hotel. We're going to have 20 rooms. And the hotel is going to have its own dock. So we're planning to have a river operation. And so in that way, we combine and just rescue what it's so nice about Guayaquil, which is a port of cities and right in the coast. So this is coming for the end of 2023, maybe the beginning of 2024. So for you to know, this is going to be our 4th property. And soon we will be going into the Galapagos Islands too. These are our values, as you have seen in both presentations. For us, art and history are very special, because we really need to be faithful to the story of the places where we have our properties and to the story that is told by each of the houses. We don't believe in just going into a house and transforming and lose the story of what is behind. What we do is we recover and we adapt the hotel operation to the original construction. So that is very important. And of course, the combination to art that I already explained to you in the beginning. Design and functionality, because you need to be comfortable in a hotel. There is no point in having a beautiful property, but you don't have the services that you're looking for. So that is where we'll always try to combine, that you can feel comfortable, that you can get a good night of rest, that you can have comfortable bedrooms. So that is very important. Collaboration is because when we go into a destination, what we do is always to collaborate with our partners that are our neighbors. So that is just creating an ambience of coexisting properly. So we do believe that if our hotels grow, our neighbors grow, the city grows, and of course the country grows. So this is what we were talking about, the circular economy. So it's something different. It's quite a challenge because we're really trying to change the concept of tourism and hospitality in Ecuador. But that is what keeps us always doing dynamic things, and we never stop having projects because, you know, we really have to go into the people. So it's very, very fun to collaborate with them. Consistency, because you need to trust in our services. So you can have our 3 properties, in the future we'll have 5, and you can trust that in each destination, they will have the same service, the same quality and excellence in anything that they might be requested, from the service of accommodation, food and beverage. So we are here to help them, and so you can trust. That is very important. Security, because when we go into the neighborhoods, now our tourists and our clients, they are part of a whole neighborhood. You know, here in Ecuador, we call our neighbors vecinos. So in short, we call them besis. So they become part of what we're doing in each city. So it's a different concept of just being an international tourist. You are part of the location where you're visiting. And of course, people. This is our greatest asset, is our main value, is people like you that are joining today. This webinar is people in our staff that are always giving the best, is the people that is joining us in this project, and of course our owners that are trusting to have all this combination of services and experiences to go beyond, as it is said in our slogan. And what we want to do is to have you living unique experiences, because especially after the pandemic, we found out that your clients, your tourists are looking for more this human connection. No, you know, it is important for you to know that we never closed during the pandemic. Of course, we had tons of challenges, but we never lost the connection to our entrepreneurs or the experiences of the people that you see in the pictures. So it just make such a strong connection to them that we want to share with our passengers that are visiting Ecuador. So you get to live the destination through these people. Like, for example, Alberto, you see the guy with the mask. So he is maybe the last mask maker in Quito. He is only 1 block from Mama Cuchara. And when you go to visit his workshop, then you get to do your own little mask that you will take with you. That is what we call a treasure, because it's something you are doing yourself. You are not buying this. And while you're doing your mask, you're sharing with Alberto, and he will tell you his stories. He will become a character because he will wear one of these masks. And so you get to ask him, what is he feeling? What is he thinking? And so you have this connection, and you will never forget being with Alberto, and you will have your mask that then you will be showing, believe me, your family, your friends, and you will be telling them you have to go to Ecuador to live this.
So a funny story, sorry, Steffi, about Alberto. I don't see it in the back. You actually see this dragon mask. He actually only creates masks that he has dreamt of. It's his dreams and his inspiration, because it was his hobby, something, it was his safe haven to do these masks. And when we met him, he was telling us that whenever he wears a mask that he's made, he becomes the character that he dreamt of. So when we met him, he actually put the dragon mask and he started like running after us. So we actually had to run because we thought he was crazy. And after a while, I was like, okay, Alberto, you have to stop now. He took off the mask and he became Alberto. So it's very interesting, the energy that he's gonna give you, the amazing, unforgettable moments that he's gonna give you, because he conveys that. And we do have a recording with him of Emi Ecuador. I think it was the last one that we did last year with him, and people were like, that you can actually feel his energy. And most of our neighbors that you see over here, these are only 3 of the many neighbors that we have, actually do that. They give you the chills when you're doing an experience with them. And you actually get to understand them, because they're welcoming you into a very specific thing you're never going to find anywhere else.
And so this is Alberto for you, just to see all the masks that he is making. And this is where art experiences came from. It's just sharing and being with these people, and so having something that you will not see in a typical city tour in Quito. So we will take you to see our vecino. He will be sharing with you. You also can combine having the traditional city tour and also having this new experiences. So it's just for you to give you an idea of how we are different and how we work together as art hotels and art experiences.
How it came to life, no?
Yep. And of course, we always like to pamper our clients. So because we have fresh coffee, we have chocolate, we have fresh fruit during the morning, we have homemade bread. We try to rescue all the products, Ecuadorian products, because we are so rich because of all the climates that we have. So we can provide you during the morning, and of course you will be sharing with our staff that will be telling you the story of these ingredients. And we have a team of chefs, and they are working to recover the traditional flavors of Ecuador. Because having the 4 regions, you know, the coast, the highlands, the Amazon, and the Galapagos, we can provide you the best flavors in all our gastronomy. And if you are in each of our hotels, you will find different dishes, so you can combine. And it is also an experience, a gastronomical experience, while you're traveling through Ecuador with Art Hotels Ecuador. And in here, we can see a video of how the chefs are working in the kitchen, how they separate the ingredients, how they put their love and passion and just rescuing all these products. We were talking this morning, and now we want to do new things. So the chefs are always creating, and you can get to meet them also if you want to have a cooking class, for example. And then you can get to learn to do locro, which is our traditional potato soup. And so this is just to give you an example of the things that we can do.
So one of the things that we do as art experiences travel, like linked with our hotels, is like we do a lot of like farewell dinners, and we do farewell dinners in very specific places, like for instance the domes of like 16th century churches, or like small refectorios, which is where the priests used to dine before. And we do this special and magical different kind of like a picnic style things within a volcano crater, for instance. So we try to actually go beyond that. We really want to listen to what people want to do. So sometimes they're like, okay, they like hiking, they are adventurous, but they're in a romantic setup. So we do a picnic in Quilotoa, for instance, which is a beautiful turquoise water lagoon crater. It was a volcanic crater that filled up with water, and it has this Turkish color, which is fantastic. And you just set up something over there with a chef, and the service over there for them to actually have that type of experiences. So that's the things that we like to do.
And now we want to invite you to do something very, very special. So we want you to close your eyes only for 3 seconds. We are going to play something for you. And while you're listening to this, just let us know after what comes to your mind.
Ready? Close your eyes.
Okay, Gabby, if we may just open the microphone 2 seconds, because we really would like to hear what came to your mind. What did you feel while you were listening to the sound?
For me, it's like the it's a soothing sound. I think for like what means more to me is that because I've sort of been working with you and seeing these personalities, almost truly feeling the culture, feeling like if I was to go there, I would already have family. And I would have this connection, and I think that the music sort of brings it together. And you were talking about, Alberto before. I remember when we did the webinar with him and he put on the mask, he was like turning his head very dramatically with the I didn't know what to make of it at first, and I feel the same way as you, but it was so amazing. And that was one of those moments that just touched all of the agents that watched it too. So I think it's this instant connection of feeling like you'd be very comfortable and that you'd be welcomed into a very gigantic family. Which I think is really important.
Yeah, that's true. No, remember that for us, people is the most important value in our operation. If you're in our properties, if you're in art experiences, we really want not to give you just a service. This is just touching your heart. So you can go back to your country with something, and that that you are visiting a country where you will learn a lot, because we have many different things to share, but you also will be helping the people.
It's a human connection. It's connecting people.
It's connecting people. That's right. It's this human bond that we really need to recover, especially after the pandemic, because that is what our tourists are looking for. And just for you to know, the music that you were listening just 2 seconds before was made by our staff, and they were together with Ali. Ali, that you're going to see in the next video, they are in Otavalo. So they're one of the entrepreneurs that have the experience of you making Andean instruments. So Ali works with his father, who is actually called Gundo, that gives the name to the worship, Taita Gundo. And so they teach you how to make a small flute or a rondador that maybe you have seen. And what is so nice is that afterwards you'll get a concert. You have a concert of all the instruments. And they also have this special motivation that each time when they have a client or a tourist, they will go into the valley of Intac, which is deep into the Andean Otavaleño highlands, and they will donate musical instruments, and they will continue teaching to children that don't have access to education how to play these instruments.
So each one of these entrepreneurs, if you may, has a strong sense of sustainability within what they do too, because they have to give back to their community. Whether it's in time, in the case of Ali, that he teaches ancestral music to like small communities, or in terms of money, because he actually gives instruments away as well.
So this is Ali, and you can see Taitegundo playing with him, and this is the workshop that we were telling you about, and all the instruments that are beautiful, the arp or the guitars, or just being there with them, and of course they will share the stories, and they will share the stories being a dad like Taitegundo, and then you have Ali, so you have 2 to 3 generations sharing you all this beautiful ancestral knowledge.
And the great thing about Ali, not of all the MEs, micro entrepreneurs, but in the case of Ali and a couple of other ones, is that they speak English, so they can actually connect with you directly. And they're fantastic at doing so.
And so that is how we want you to feel the magic of visiting Ecuador, just offering our services to your clients, because now you know that we will go beyond, that we want to listen. So we want to prepare something special for you, always tailor-made, very customized service. So that is what we do. And now you have a better understanding of how we are combining the hotel services through art hotels, and of course, this new concept of tourism through art experiences. So that is what we wanted to share with you this morning. So I hope you liked it. And if you have any questions, well, we're here to listen. We still have a few minutes.
Yeah, if you do have any questions, just type them in. But, I saw so many of these comments going, as we were watching, and it was just beautiful. I think all of you are just very, your hearts are warmed from watching this and connecting. And I've always said, I used to think just the Galapagos was the world's best classroom, but imagine combining this for a family vacation with, Galapagos, and then this land-based stay where you're actually connecting with a whole different set of, humans instead of animals that tell amazing stories as well. This is pretty much the best. This is trending. This is the new, I would say, family bond hotspot for families to be able to get a lot more out of their journey. So that's my opinion for sure. But if you do have any questions, we will make sure that all of you do get the contact information here, and we will be able to send you fact sheets, marketing materials, all of that. Okay, somebody is asking here. Let's just go through. Okay, are there as many flights to Otavalo as Quito, or is it a connection from Quito? No, that's a drive. Maybe you just want to address how long the drive that is.
Yeah, so basically you fly into Tababela, which is in the northern part of Quito and south of Otavalo. And from that international airport, you can either go to Otavalo or Quito, and it takes you about an hour to each direction. So it's pretty much the same.
Okay, and then someone says, can you talk about the Amazon experience?
Oh yeah, the Amazon is fantastic because you actually have and scattered tribes, but the best thing about the Amazon is the contact you're gonna have with the wilderness. So there's a couple of lodges over there. I don't know if you have heard about the Napa Wildlife Center, right? Sacha-G or the Swiss cabins. They actually do excursions in which you can actually see a bunch of animals and interact with them and with the local communities as well. So it depends on what you're looking for, to be honest with you. Some of them actually like the cruise ship, like the Anaconda or the Manatee, which are really interesting because it's a cruise in the Amazon in which you're gonna see, you're gonna visit a bunch of communities. You're actually gonna have in touch with pink dolphins as well. They have these beautiful sustainable programs with them, and with some communities that they actually welcome you and show you how they live within the jungle. So it depends on what you want.
Fantastic. And then, okay, Donna asked, do you assist with air arrangements?
We do air arrangements internally more so than internationally, because we don't have that many clients that ask us to do airfare internationally, but internally we do, because we know when to buy it, how to buy it, and we know which ones are the best seats, so you can get the best value for your money.
Excellent. All right. Well, fantastic. All right. Everyone says thank you. I think we'll wrap it up. We're just about hitting an hour. But this is wonderful. I love all of this. And I know that all of you do too. And like I said, we've recorded it. So if you've missed any portion, you can check. We'll share the link on our YouTube channel. Please also feel free to share this. Share this with your fellow agents. Share this with, a lot of you are working from home, but, share this with your group. I think this is so much more than just, hotels, and so much more than just land packages. This is really a journey that will change your life in many, many ways. So I want to.
There's a question that I really want to answer.
Right ahead. Sure.
Right. COVID in Ecuador is actually really controlled. We have 85% of the country with 3 shots already. So in terms of COVID, pretty much we're one of the best countries within the region. The only thing that you need to have in order to travel to Ecuador is either have your vaccination card with 2 shots, or show a PCR before coming in, or an antigen test as well, a negative one to come in. And you show these ones and you can actually travel wherever you want. It's both for Galapagos and Quito. So we're really one of those countries, one of the few countries in the region right now that is extremely open to it. And COVID right now, we have around 300 cases each day. Like, we're still getting Omicron, I think, but the occupancy within hospitals is basically as the lowest it has been the past 2 years. So in terms of COVID, we're doing really good.
I love hearing that, and that the easier it is to enter a country, the better, the better it is for everyone, and the much easier it is for you all to sell.
Yeah, we traveled to Chile and Argentina, and believe me, it's a hassle. It's difficult.
It's like putting a puzzle together. I know, but Ecuador is easy, and there's plenty of flights from the US, whether they're nonstop or direct, with easy connections from most gateways. I should mention that to all of you as well. All right. Well, I want to thank you guys so much. This was beautiful as always. Can't wait to have you back again, talk about more different things and updates as you get closer to opening that new hotel as well. So everybody keep an eye on that. And we'll make sure you have all of their contact info, marketing materials as well. And we welcome any questions. So, they are both available for you anytime for questions. You can always email Stephanie and Sebas directly as well. But thank you so much for your time, and we'll talk to all of you very soon. Thank you for sharing these. And we do have a giveaway, so we're going to just go over who was on today, and the lucky winner will be advised in just a bit. So stay tuned. Thanks for joining.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Gabby. And it was a pleasure seeing all of you and explaining what Ecuador is something that passionate a lot is our passion. Basically, the people that you're gonna see here, the places you're gonna see here, and we were like basically waiting for you guys whenever you need any questions to like be there and help you out.
Fantastic. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Everyone have a great day.
Thank you, Gabby.
Thank you, Gabby. Bye.